Hey y'all, Melissa here with Whole Heart Holistics. Thank you guys for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about helping when you have anxiety or stress in your life. And oh my goodness, who doesn't? I'm here to tell you about some natural, drug-free, non-invasive patches that you can wear, much like the patches that I've talked about in my other videos. But these patches are specifically for anxiety and chronic stress. Or if you just have one day here or there that's stressful, you don't have to wear them every day. You can just wear them in that instance. And honestly, they just provide such a peaceful, just calming and grounding experience. I have a history of chronic illness and chronic pain that was very, very debilitating. I'm 35 years old and I found that I was just very depressed from being in so much chronic pain and having experienced chronic illness since I was a sophomore in high school. So if that's something that you struggle with, take a look at my other videos because I've gone over how to help in those situations. But today I want to talk to you about the Peace Patch. So these patches are, like I said, for stress and anxiety and depression. It's so interesting because I have my own personal experience, but there's also stories on the Super Patch Testimonials site on Facebook. If you go there and type in the Peace Patch or type in stress or anxiety and read people's testimonials, you will see that this Peace Patch has helped significantly. Some people have been able to get off of all anti-anxiety and antidepressant medicines, which is phenomenal because anything that you can avoid that chemically alters your brain, oh my goodness, please try it. And so with these Peace Patches, another benefit to using them is you can use them on kids and you can use them on pregnant people because there is nothing in them that is harmful. There is no drugs, there are no medicines, not even supplements. It's just an imprint that triggers a reaction in your brain to respond differently to stress and anxiety and depression. A couple of short stories from my experience. So my daughter is in swim lessons. She does infant survival swim lessons. She's not an infant anymore, but the reason that she is in infant self-rescue lessons is because I had experienced so much debilitating chronic pain that I was terrified if my daughter fell in a swimming pool or a canal or a river, that I would not be able to help her. And that, as a mama, was horrifying. And so, thank God, I heard about ISR lessons. This is just a little plug for those guys. Look them up in your area. They taught my daughter how to flip over and float and how to swim so she can rescue herself because I was terrified that my back would go out and I wouldn't be able to help her. So we put her in those swim lessons. So fast forward about, 3 months. She was in a pond standing right next to me, but she had a fall-in experience even though there was a little sandy beach. She had on a life jacket because life jacket was required there. So the life jacket pushed her head into the water and she couldn't get her head out of the water. I was standing right there. She could have stood up. The water was extremely shallow, but it was extremely traumatic for her and her little brain couldn't process, all I have to do is stand up. And her brain didn't process, Mama's standing right beside me. I can just grab Mama. So knowing that it was a controlled situation, I watched her and she flipped herself over to her float position just as her swim instructor had taught her. Praise God, it worked. And so I was super excited. I grabbed her up and told her how as quickly as I could, that she was safe, that she was loved, that I was proud of her, that she did amazing. But no matter how much I praised her, it was still super traumatic for her. 2.5 years old and she feels like she's stuck in the water. And we had not done training with a life vest on before. That was her first experience falling in real life, not in a controlled situation. She was traumatized. So from then on out, swim lessons were just a screaming, crying, oh so anxious experience. The whole way to swim lesson, she would cry and fuss. I want to go home. I don't want to swim today. I don't want to swim today. Because she was traumatized, and you can't blame her. I can't blame her, my goodness. I just had so much of a heartache because I didn't want to push the anxiety and the stress that she was experiencing, but I knew that she needed to get back in the water to regain her confidence. So after a swim lesson being extremely stressful, and both of us were tense, and she was not happy, I decided to try out a peace patch on my toddler. I thought, you know, maybe this is our answer to making swim lessons more bearable for her. Of course, it doesn't take away the trauma, but let's try it. So when she woke up the morning of the following week for her swim lessons, I put the peace patch on her little bicep right here. And it didn't take away the anxiety of the anticipation that swim lessons were coming. She still fussed in the car ride. She wasn't crying. She was just telling me, Mama, I don't want to go. Mama, I want to go home. Mama, I don't want to swim. And we talked and we prayed together and we tried to rebuild her confidence. And when we got to swim lessons, we told the swim coach, you know, she's having a lot of feelings. And let me tell you what, it was night and day. My daughter swam. My daughter floated. My daughter did not cry. She did not fuss. She actually enjoyed herself. The swim instructor was like, this is so different. And she started telling all the parents around us about the patch that she was wearing and how beneficial it was. They asked me, there's 2 swim coaches and they see, I believe they see 40 kids a day. And she said, can you please put these patches out in our lobby so that other parents can try them to help with their kids when they're experiencing anxiety in the swimming pool? Because it was just such a noticeable difference. And my daughter was able to rebuild her confidence in herself that she knows how to swim and she knows how to float despite that traumatic experience. So that was a personal experience of mine where I got to put this on my toddler, knowing that it's not medication and knowing that I can trust it to be safe and to help her. And it did. It helped her tremendously. And let me tell you, in my life of chronic illness, part of one of my struggles is I have really bad PMS. Sorry, guys. I know, TMI. But maybe you have a wife or a girlfriend that has really bad PMS and they really just want to bite your head off. And I will be wearing one of these every day of PMS. Also, personal story, the swim instructor, not our swim instructor, but her coworker had not slept in a couple of days. She had one of those bands on her, like a Fitbit that tells her how much REM sleep and things she's gotten, and she had gotten hardly any. And she was just anxious, outside of herself, miserable. And she had, 20 students that day, and they're all babies or toddlers to teach to swim, and they're screaming because, when you try to teach a 6-month-old how to swim, it can be really overwhelming for that baby, and they can scream. So she came over to me and she said, I don't have chronic pain. I know that you wear these patches for chronic pain, but do you have anything for sleep and anxiety? And I will do a video on the ones for sleep, but I was able to put a peace patch on her for her anxiety. And she texted me an hour later and she said, Melissa, I may not have gotten any sleep, but I feel so calm. And I feel like I am grounded and I can do this. And I'm not going to strangle my coworkers today. And so that's another experience that I have to share with you. Also, if you know someone with chronic illness or chronic pain, stress and anxiety, especially over medical expenses or just the stress of not being able to do things the way that you would like to do, think about those people in your life. Think about, can you help them with some of these patches? In my other videos, we've talked about the Freedom Patch and how it can help significantly relieve pain. How the Liberty Patch added to that is even a double whammy against the pain, and how these changed my life of chronic pain. If you haven't heard that story, go check out that other video, because I went from debilitating, handicapped chronic pain to being able to run around with my daughter. And now I've told you about the Peace Patch and how that can help in a life of someone with chronic pain and illness. In one of my other videos, I talked to you about the Defend patch and how that can help your immune system. And if you know someone with chronic illness or a weakened immune system, or if you're like me and your toddler just gets sick all the time and you want something that is safe for your family to use, please take a look at those videos. Please click on the link that I'll provide for you to where you can go take a look at those patches and try them for yourself. There is a 25% off your first order. No special codes required. It will just register at checkout. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. If it does not work for you, the company will refund your money, except for shipping. Can't blame them there. So go try it and please subscribe.